Everyone ready?
Hang on.
Uh-oh.
You guys are late.
I think we were a little late because the comptroller is offering some testimony in committee, so apologies for that. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Ryan Spain, State Representative for the 73rd District. We're here to talk about really the most important topic in state government, and if it hasn't been proven again and again, we're here to remind you why it's so important, and that is the topic of ethics. Ethics and corruption are one of the top priorities of the House Republican caucus, and one of the things that needs to change in the most dramatic way in the state of Illinois. So today we're here really as a reminder of what happened 1 year ago, because we've now just passed the 1-year anniversary of the indictment of former Speaker Mike Madigan on 22 counts, federal counts of corruption activities within the state of Illinois. This is a reminder of the problems that we have within state government and why things need to change. I was one of 3 members, Republican members in the House, that exercised the little known and used Rule 91 that convened the Special Investigating Committee to shine a spotlight on the activities of Mike Madigan and his associates and the way that he conducted business to enrich himself and his friends as Speaker of the House. That happened through the leadership of House Republicans to shine a spotlight on the need for ethics reforms. And even though that Special Investigating Committee was convened, it was impaneled, and ultimately swept under the rug many of the corrupt activities and misconduct from Speaker Madigan, we shined a light on this topic. And we are here to continue shining a light on this topic today. It's very important that we never give up talking about ethics and corruption and the cost that it has placed on our state government. So we're going to talk today about a few very practical things, legislation that's pending and that needs to move forward immediately that will help improve the ethics lapses that exist in the state of Illinois, and also some ways that we should reflect on the importance of cleaning out corruption throughout the state of Illinois. So 2 resolutions that are very pertinent. One that will be forthcoming will ask for the House of Representatives to ban the placement of a Speaker Madigan portrait in the House chambers. This is something that has been done for past governors that you can think of up on the 2nd floor. It's important that we do so in the House of Representatives. And another resolution that will honor the activities of a U.S. attorney who is retiring at the end of this week, someone that we have great respect for, and certainly the state and the nation appreciates his service, and that's U.S. Attorney John Lausch. And I'll turn it over to our floor leader, Patrick Windhorst, to talk more about U.S. Attorney Lausch.
Thank you, Leader Spain. My name is Patrick Windhorst. I'm State Representative for the 117th District, which is all or parts of 10 counties in southeastern Illinois. As Representative Spain mentioned, I currently serve as House Republican Floor Leader, and I'm also the ranking House Republican member on the House Judiciary Criminal Committee. Since taking office, I've filed and co-sponsored many ethics reform and corruption-related bills, only to see them languish and die in the Rules Committee. In fact, in 2021, the General Assembly passed an ethics reform package that was so weak that the sitting Legislative Inspector General resigned in disgust. It seemed during the Madigan era of Illinois government that corruption was the widely accepted, rarely punished status quo. But something changed when John Lausch was appointed to serve as U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois by President Trump. Since he was sworn into office in November 2017, John Lausch has presided over several investigations that led to multiple indictments for public corruption. The most notable cases have been racketeering and bribery charges brought against longtime political giants in Illinois, including longtime House Speaker Mike Madigan and longtime Chicago Alderman Ed Burke. Despite several Illinois legislators being indicted or imprisoned on corruption charges since 2019, Illinois still lags behind other states in enacting meaningful reforms that would eliminate conflicts of interest and empower the Legislative Inspector General. We have to do more. But today, I want to extend my thanks and congratulations to United States Attorney John Lausch for serving the citizens of Illinois with honor and distinction. And I want to especially thank him for his efforts to stamp out corruption and to restore the public's faith in law enforcement in Illinois. As it has been mentioned, today marks that 1 year ago that Mike Madigan was indicted on 22 counts of corruption-related charges. We have not solved the problem of corruption in Illinois government. There is much more to do, but U.S. Attorney Lausch has moved Illinois forward in a meaningful and significant way. I wish Mr. Lausch the best in his next endeavors and thank him for his public service, his sacrifice, and for the results he has achieved representing the best interests of the citizens of Illinois. I'll now turn it over to my colleague, Representative Blaine Wilhauer.
Thank you. It's good to be here today on this important and most pressing issue. I think everybody knows the corruption crisis in the state of Illinois is a worldwide embarrassment. But what we don't talk about enough is how the rampant corruption that and the influence peddling that takes place in here affects regular people's ability to prosper in this state. Because the majority party refuses to put in place even the most bare minimum of ethical guardrails, here's what kind of happens on almost every major piece of legislation or lack of legislation in this place. Big money special interest comes in and gives big money to politicians in power who then pass legislation that is basically for the special interests, mostly written by the special interests, that benefit the status quo at the expense of the taxpayers in this state. And every day that we are not making major reforms that bring more opportunity to this state, taxpayers in this state are being punished. So, let's do some simple things, guys. Let's expose and eliminate conflicts of interest. Legislators need to choose between personal profit and public service. No more politicians like Madigan and many others around here using their legislative clout to line their pockets at the taxpayers' expense. House Bill 1641 would, at a bare minimum, put restrictions in place that would force public recusal for conflicts of interest. That's common sense. The revolving door between legislator and lobbyists is a joke in this state. It needs a lot of work. House Bill 3953 changes that restriction from basically immediately, in essence, to 3 years. I think that's an important and practical step. The Legislative Inspector General setup that Representative Windhorst referenced is so bad that the previous Legislative Inspector General resigned after the weak, watered-down legislation that we passed in the last session, calling the office a paper tiger. House Bill 3582 would address those legitimate concerns. It would give subpoena power to the Legislative Inspector General. It would give them the power to investigate without getting permission from the very people that they are supposed to be investigating to do their job there. And it would require that the Legislative Ethics Committee actually vote no on releasing results of investigations. Currently, basically, they have to vote yes to release it. We want to change that backwards and make the standard procedure that it would be released unless they specifically voted not to. And we need to empower citizens in this state, especially since so many citizens in this state are marginalized by the way that we make maps in this state. Here. People should have the ability by ballot initiative to override egregious legislation like the Safety Act or the cash bail stuff. The state of California, which is competing with us to be the most far left state in the country, has this mechanism, and they actually use this mechanism to override the governor and the legislature on ending cash bail in the state of California. The bottom line is that everybody knows what needs to be done. Everybody in here knows what needs to be done. The other side of the aisle knows what needs to be done, and they're just not doing it. It's completely unacceptable. And we're here today because we're not accepting any more watered-down half measures. We don't compromise when it comes to when it comes to requiring ethical behavior from our government. And we need nothing less than the strongest anti-corruption safeguards in the country to start to restore some credibility, much-needed credibility here, and to ensure that corrupt politicians like Mike Madigan never get the kind of power over the citizens that they've had in this state ever again. And I'll be turning over to, or just questions? All right.